Brooklyn, where stories grow wild to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark. Curtains rose and so did he, finding power in poetry. One voice, one mic, one sacred truth. Every word he spoke uncaged the youth. He saw the world try to silence the bold, but his soul was wired to break the mold. Now he walks in purpose, pure and true. He was born to speak.
Welcome to Born to Speak to You TV. I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs, and we have a tremendous show for you this evening. My guest is someone that I know very, very well. This is a person that is an author. She's a podcaster. I should say she's an award-winning author because she recently won a literary award. She's also a distinguished Toastmaster and a singer. Yes, she's a gospel choir singer. She's also my wife, Ansonia Gibbs. So you're not going to want to miss this. You want to strap in because this is going to be a live show. We'll be back in 1 second. This is Born to Speak to You TV. Welcome to Born to Speak to You TV, where we're speaking life into the moments that matter. This isn't just a show. It's a movement. It's a space where stories are honored, voices are lifted, and truth has a mic. Each episode, we dive into powerful conversations on identity, on equity, growth, healing, leadership, and the courage that it takes to speak up in a world that often wants us to keep quiet. Whether it's through personal testimony, community impact, or artistic expression, Born to Speak to You is where voices rise and change begin. Our mission is simple: to empower people to use their voice, own their truth, and build bridges of communication and understanding. So, sit back or lean in, because you're about to witness what happens when passion meets purpose. This is Born to Speak to You TV. Let's speak life. Yes, this is Born to Speak to You TV. I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs. Today's episode is called Preserving the Gold, Speaking Life Through Gospel Music. And I told you a little bit about my guest. Let me properly introduce her, because she is a woman whose passion for gospel music, faith, and preserving legacy has touched countless lives. Ansonia Gibbs is a gospel music historian, an award-winning author, speaker, podcaster, and longtime advocate for preserving the rich heritage of gospel music. Through her podcast, Let's Talk Gospel Music Gold, she shines a spotlight on the artists, the leaders, and stories that have helped shape gospel music history. Her commitment to uplifting others through music, conversation, and inspiration makes her a perfect guest for today's discussion. So please join me in welcoming my wife, Ansonia Gibbs, to Born to Speak to You TV. Hey, honey.
Hey! Yay!
Glad to have you on the show. Now, you know what I always like to say. Let's jump into the deep end. I know you like the deep end and getting wet and getting
If I had a floaty.
If you had a floaty and getting right to it. So let's get right to it. Uh, Preserving the gold, speaking life through gospel music. This first segment is called The Power of Your Voice. The Power of Your Voice. So when did you, Ansonia, first realize that your voice had the power to encourage and to uplift others?
Wow. That's going way back to when I was a child singing in the choir. And I tell people I started singing at the age of 7 in a choir. I sang in, I Catholic, started singing in the gospel choir. My church that I attended was St. Agatha Catholic Church, and our choir sang like a gospel choir that was in a Baptist church or any Protestant church. Our director, Frank Biggs, and our pastor was Father John Barlow. They really encouraged us to really dig into our talents and our spirituality and relationship with God. I realized when I was younger that I could bring people to tears just by singing. And the choir would, I would get a song that I led because I led several of the songs. And I mean, the church would just fall silent. Can you imagine being in a large Catholic church that had these grandiose pillars that looked like they reached to heaven when I was a little girl? And just to stand there and sing and just have silence all over the audience and just see people tear up. And it wasn't tears of, oh my God, why is she standing there? It was tears of feeling the Spirit of God that was coming from my heart. And as a matter of fact, I don't think I told you this, but when I was younger and we had gone to a guest church, and someone approached my mother and wanted me to become a professional singer. And she was like, no, no, I think she's got other stuff in mind. But that was one of the things. One thing you did miss, though, of late, I am also a funeral singer. So I retired from singing literally. And then sometimes people will call me, hey, can you sing for so and so's funeral? So I still do it every once in a while.
Okay.
I'll,
Have there been have there been moments when music have helped save or restore or strengthen your spirit?
Actually, yes. And listening to some of the people around me, uh, opening my heart up to hear what people are singing about and the lyrics. One thing that I tell people on my podcast, and I think I've repeated it on a number of occasions, that I am a lyricist. I love hearing the word and hearing the word of God through song. And that is what gospel music is. It is song music directly from the Bible. That's what gospel music started off being, and uplifting and giving people a full heart and understanding their relationship with God.
Okay. Now, of course, this show's motto is speaking life into the moments that matter. How has your journey taught you to speak life into difficult situations?
The journeys that I've had, and I've had many, is there are different scriptures, different songs that relate to the situation that I may be in, or relate to a situation that someone else is in, and find out the depth of it. And when you reach into as I said, the lyrics of a lot of the gospel music songs that come out of the Bible, they're very encouraging and can give you, in your lowest, darkest time, can give you thought. One of my favorite songs when I got into my mid 20s was Speak to My Heart. One of the songs as a child was Give Me a Clean Heart, so that I could understand what God is looking for and my relationship. And then Speak to My Heart. If you really listen to the lyrics of that song and you listen to the chorus of that song, it tells you how to just throw your cares on the Lord and leave them there. That's the main thing people have to do, is leave it there. A lot of people like to try to pick it up, but you have to learn how to leave it there.
Purpose okay. Bigger well, than fear. So, Ansonia, many people silence themselves because of fear. Fear of speaking, fear of singing, just fear. But what gave you the courage to step forward in ministry, music, and media?
What gave me purpose in ministry was I had an incident at church and was actually going to walk away from the church, period. And I spoke with my pastor at the time, who was Father Martin, and he said, I see something in you that you don't see in yourself. And that's what led me into ministry, because he told me that I had a gift that I wasn't using yet. What brought me forth in music is I love music, and I love all genres of music, but I really love gospel music. And that is because people can take a talent or not be trained for something and can utilize that and become fantastic at that. That's in music. And then you said ministry, music, and
Media.
media. I loved writing in diaries when I was a little girl. And that was one of my favorite gifts that I would get from my mother every year. And writing just came a little natural for me in that sense. Although I didn't think I was going to be able to write a book, but I did enter a poetry contest when I was younger and got excited because they published my poetry, and
Okay.
then motivated to write books later on.
All right. Thank you for that. We're going to put a little pin in it right here, and we're going to have a commercial, and we'll be right back with Ansonia Gibbs on Born to Speak to You TV. I'm Calvin Gibbs. This is Born to Speak to You TV, and here is the segment we like to call Born to Rise. I often get asked, how do I get motivated? What motivates me? Well, I want to let you know that your biggest source of motivation are your own thoughts. So think big. The bigger you think, the more you can motivate yourself, not only to win, but to help somebody else, to make your dreams turn into goals, turn into success. So the biggest source of motivation is right up here. Your own thoughts. Own them, embrace them, love them because they're yours, and motivate yourself.
From the streets of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild, to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark.
We're back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. My guest today is Ansonia Gibbs, and our episode is Preserving the Gold, Speaking Life Through Gospel Music. I want to move into our next segment, Ansonia, and talk about legacy, culture, and community. Now, gospel music has carried generations through pain, through struggle, and through triumph as well. So why is preserving that legacy so important?
Because we're losing, as African Americans, we're losing a lot of our legacy. We're losing a lot of our stories because we don't have the storytellers anymore. There used to be where you would have a family member or someone in the village that would tell the stories and bring that on. And that's what gospel music does. It's a legacy. It talks and tells of legacy, in addition to bringing in the gospel of the Bible, bringing in actually all parts of the Bible. There are songs that does that, but it is important for us to know as people to understand where the origins are.
Okay. So what lessons from the older generations do you believe that we must uh, protect and pass forward? What are those lessons?
Some of the lessons are teaching the young people, teaching younger generations the dedication to not only to God and to your um, relationship with God and with Jesus dying for us. We have to remember where we came from as far as a people. And a lot of the spirituals that were written give us a path to that. Not saying that we have to live in it, but at least we'll know about the information, have knowledge.
Okay, now would you say that that's strictly gospel music, or is it other forms of Christian music as well?
Well, folk music also does that as well. So, folk music is very close to gospel in that sense of leading, giving paths of what was happening in the past and where we can get to.
Okay, now music, like anything else, will evolve over generations, right? And you mentioned about keeping the culture alive while reaching younger generations. I know rap music is becoming more and um, more evident in gospel music. The rap songs, and also there's some rhythms in gospel music now that sounds very similar to the type of rhythms you might find in a club or somewhere. So how do we keep culture alive while still reaching younger generations?
Well, I'll give you a little secret about music. Music is always going to continue to evolve. So they take a, let's say, a traditional gospel song, and what they do is they change the beat. They may they may do, if it's a 2/4 beat, they'll do a 6/8 beat and make it sound like it's new, but it's the same song. So there's revitalization there in music. So music always evolves, and they're adding more colorful chords in gospel music, whereas it came from another area in the world, like chromatic scales. Those are different, and what was generally used as major, minors, etc. So that's how that works.
Okay.
It's just
Now,
evolving.
yeah, but I know, I feel, and tell me if I'm wrong, but some older generations may not like what's going on with the younger generations and gospel music. Is that correct?
Well, that's always been the history. If we think about and talk about Thomas Dorsey, when Thomas Dorsey initially introduced gospel music to the church, pastors didn't want him doing that. They didn't want him coming in the church because they called it boogie woogie music, and they didn't want to have that in the church and blah blah blah. And then finally it started to catch on. And if I could tell a quick story about Oh Happy Day, actually that was a hymn that was written in the 1800s. And Edwin Hawkins changed that hymn to a modern pop song, and it was accepted in underground pop before it was accepted in the church.
Hmm.
So
Okay. I didn't know,
there's always been controversy like that.
and I guess there always will be as well.
Absolutely.
Uh, Now, of all the podcasts that you could have done, you chose gospel music, and I know you've had some meaningful conversations. So let's talk about the healing through conversation. This is our next segment, healing through conversations, because your podcast does create meaningful conversations, and I've listened to most most of your episodes. You just grind them out all year long, so it's hard for me to catch up. But why are such safe spaces for those type of dialogues so important today?
Well, it, the music industry has actually changed, especially for gospel musicians. They used to have record labels that came out and will recruit people, either have some kind of showcase or something like that. But because the record labels are not as plentiful as they used to be, or it was so hard to get a contract, a lot of people have gone independent just to get their music out there. They want to get their music out there. They want to get the message out there. And that's what our platform is for. It is also to help people who are independent artists who can't afford to pay large conglomerates to get their information out there. And I love talking with the musicians and the singers. I talk to production managers. I talk to promoters, and just to give people knowledge. And I think it's helping a lot of people. And then sometimes we have some very deep conversations about their spiritual journeys. And just to get that out there, because people need to know some of these artists in the background, as opposed to just seeing them to come out and sing, or even to think that they're just performers. They're not just performers. These are people who are out there to minister. And you want to know their heart when you get out there and you listen to
So,
them.
so what's one thing that you would say that you've learned from listening to people's stories?
I have learned that there are a lot of people that don't know that gospel music industry is a business. Because a lot of them, there's a lot of people that are out there that think that just because they can sing, they need to know how to operate their business. I've spoken to people who have written music and it was stolen from someone else because they didn't realize how to copyright their own music. I've spoken to people who have been told that they were going to get paid to come to a specific place, and they get there and they don't get paid, and they're expecting that. So you hear the hearts of the people that I talk to, the people that I interview, and I also do historical shows to inform people of information. Just like I told you about the hymn, Oh Happy Day, I didn't know the history behind Oh Happy Day, and that it was a hymn that was written in the 1800s.
Okay, great. So, because you have this responsibility to make sure that the legacy goes forward, what would you say is the responsibility that comes along with a public platform and having a microphone?
Well, as you know, me, I love positive communication. So I don't want to talk to anybody that wants to drag other people or wants to browbeat people. I have had some people that come on that, try to talk negatively about, like the genre you talked about, gospel hip hop or gospel rap. And everybody has to express in their way and reach the audience that they're trying to reach. Everybody's not going to get on board with you when you're singing a Dr. Watts or a spiritual. Everybody's not going to get on board with you. So the basic thing is to try to create communication so that people will have a personal relationship with God and understand why Jesus died on the cross for them.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Ansonia. Man, this is deep, deep information we're getting here. But we're going to take a little break right here, and we'll be right back in 60 seconds. We have a message from our sponsor coming up. This is Born to Speak to You TV. This episode, Preserving the Gold, speaking life through gospel music. Don't go away. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. And we are back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs. My guest today is my wife, Ansonia Gibbs, and we're talking about preserving the gold, speaking life through gospel music. And Sonia, we're going to move into our next segment, and this is called "The World Is Waiting." I know that's one of the messages that you've had. You're also a speaker, and I remember you did a presentation during Women's Month. I think it was April.
It was in March. It
In
was
March.
in
Okay,
March at a college,
it was
and
in
my
March.
message
And
was, "The world is waiting."
so, what do you believe the world is waiting to hear from people right now?
Well, the world is waiting to hear from everybody has a story. And I was listening to some people that were talking. Everybody has a story, everybody has a different view, and or everyone wants to hear your song. And I said, I use that as well. Everyone wants to hear from you. They want to know what is going on. This is how it helps people do a purpose. And I'll digress for a second. I was reading in an article that talks about the generations of late that are lonely. They feel lonely. They feel like they don't have anybody to talk to, anybody to um, hear them or listen to them. One of my main things that I love doing as a youth minister is I would take the kids out. I had a group, but I would dedicate one Sunday out of the month or one Sunday for each kid. I would take them somewhere and we would just sit and talk because I knew that they had to get something off their chest. So the world is waiting to hear from you. We see so much negativity in the world, and that is why I wanted to write a tribute book of Molding a Black Princess, because we hear so many negative stories, etc. But there's so many other people who are out there that have something good to say, something good to share. And even if you have to write a story of something that happened to you traumatic, maybe that can help somebody else. So the world is waiting for your voice, for your song, for your art. That's something else that people can express themselves through art and music, writing music, singing music. That's just me.
Okay, sounds good. Let's move into our next segment, moments that matter. Moments that matter. So, what moment in your life changed you forever? This is a trick question.
I know it is. I think we need to put a pin on that. No, just kidding. So, what moment changed my life? I think is what you're asking.
What moment in life changed you forever?
Well,
We all
I
know that
will.
we all
Yes,
know the answer is
I was
marrying
gonna.
me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that because that's why you came to Chicago. You didn't know it yet, but you came to Chicago to meet me to get married, so that we can
All right.
have an enjoyable life together. And I tell you, this has been a fun, exciting, exhilarating experience. Is being married to you and watching you grow and change and do so many different things. And you have brought out talents in me that I either suppressed or didn't know that I had.
Okay, now the joke question is over. What moment in your life has changed you forever?
Well, that was one moment, like I said, about that. And I'm
Hmm.
actually being truthful about that. Another moment that changed in my life was when I realized that I could change others with my positivity and have them find their creative tone or juices. I don't know if I ever told you this before, but I used to help people around me sing. And there were several people that didn't think that they could do it. Like when the choir director said, "Hey, I want so and so to sing a lead song," and they would get so afraid. And I would sit down with them and I said, "Hey, do this, that, and the other. your voice is in this range, this key. Sing it like this. Sing it comfortably. Don't try to imitate the vocalist that did the song. You do that song. I'll give you another is someone that we know very well was going out to audition for a show. And that was in theater to audition for a show. And she said, man, I don't know how to get this song. And I said, let's go sit in a room and we're just going to play this tape 3 or 4 times. And then I'm going to stop the tape and you sing the song. Believe it or not, she got that audition. She got that part.
Okay. Okay. Now, I want to take some liberties here
Uh-oh.
and ask you some questions from the heart. Okay, beyond behind the voice. What brings you peace?
My devotions and God. I really get peace in that and getting myself somewhere silent. When I was younger, I used to go to retreats and I discovered something is that I could step off the world to have a relationship with God and understand where my next steps are.
Okay, okay. If your life was a song, Ansonia, a song title, what would that be?
Oh boy. Is it one that's already recorded and I kind of make up a title?
You can make up a title.
Here comes the Queen Ansonia down the road. I don't know. I made that up.
Would that be what genre of music would that be?
Oh, it would actually be a combination of jazz and gospel. So it would
Okay,
be an eclectic. Yeah. I did at
okay,
one point I used to go to work with a theme song that was sung by Mandisa. And it was, oh my gosh, what was the name of that song? Is it Good Morning? I can't even remember, but I used to go to work. And when I would get off the elevator, I would press that on my phone and play it till I got to my desk. And it got to the point where one time when I was going to work and I didn't play it, everybody said, you didn't play that song this morning. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was bothering people. So, yeah, I'll
yeah.
think of
It is good. It is "Good Morning" by Mandisa, and for the viewers, she's being kind right now because
Don't be telling my
that, that's
secrets.
that's on her alarm, and it goes off every morning. We be jamming, waking up to Mandisa singing "Good Morning." I know the words by heart. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes,
Don't
indeed.
be telling
So,
my
Ansonia,
secrets.
what legacy do you hope to leave behind?
The legacy that I hope to leave behind is just spreading joy, living in the positive moments. And I'm not saying that I don't go through some dark times, because I do, but I like to let the positive outshine the dark moments. And one thing I learned very early was about forgiveness. I have to forgive in order to be forgiven. But when I forgive, the next day, I have no problem with seeing the brightness and the promises.
Okay. Okay. What message would you give to someone that's struggling silently today? There's a lot of people out there struggling and they don't make a lot of noise about it. What message would you give to someone that's struggling silently today?
I would say, because sometimes talking to people, unfortunately, can distract them. I say get a devotion, whether you do a electronic devotional, like I use Daily Word that is on it's you version. Get a devotional and start reading that if you don't have uh, a familiarity with the Bible, and find one that has the scriptures in it. Find there's a lot of inspirational instrumental music out there, and a lot of it is positive. Try to bring as much positivity into your space and people, and smile. You would be surprised at what a smile to a stranger, or even looking at yourself in the mirror, because that's one of my main things is, if I can't look at myself in the mirror and smile, then what do I need to do to fix that?
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Sonia, finish this sentence for us. I was born to speak.
Through my personality, through my smile, sharing my gifts that I have, and everyone, and trying to highlight others' gifts.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Ansonia. We're going to take another break. We're going to have a commercial from the Coaches Lounge, and we'll be right back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. Okay, we are back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. I'm here with my guest, Ansonia Gibbs, and we've been talking about preserving the gold. I got to go back a little bit and ask you, why did you come up with the title Gospel Music Gold? And of course, where this title of this episode is Preserving the Gold. What is the gold?
I just to be honest with you, a lot of people hear gospel music, but they don't know who wrote the song. They don't know who sung the song. They don't know who the musicians are, etc. And gospel music is a genre that is not widely recognized like your other genres, like your pop music or what have you. So if somebody would say or see Justin Bieber walk down the street, they would know who he was. But would they know who a Jeffrey LaValle is, who's written over 300 gospel songs that have been recorded? Would they know who Brenda Joyce Moore is? Her song was How Excellent, and the lead singer was Lucretia Campbell. But did anybody know who they were? And when they walk down the street, only people in the church know who they are, not the world as a whole, when they bring such gold to our ears, gold to our hearts, gold to our minds. And I just wanted to be able to let people know that there is more to gospel music. And we walk past people who have talent and can sing the paint off the wall. That's what we say in church, can sing the paint off the wall. And people don't know who they are. But I know that that's gold, that's rich gold that walks the streets and walk among us. And I just want to bring a light to that.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much for that and sharing some of your journey with us and the viewers. Are you ready to play a little game? Ready for some
Uh oh.
fun?
Okay.
This next segment is called 30 Seconds to Speak Life. Okay? I'm going to give you some quick, heartfelt questions, and I want to inspire concise, powerful answers from you. You have 30 seconds to answer or less to answer each question. Okay? As soon
Do I
as
get
you
a
finish
timer?
the answer, I'm going to the next question. So, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. What's one life lesson everyone should learn sooner rather than later?
Learning to look at yourself in the mirror, like I said a few seconds ago, and understand who you are.
What would you tell your younger self in 30 seconds?
Just enjoy life. Stop taking things so hard. I took it hard when I was a little girl, and then as I grew older, I realized it's not that hard.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
Mm. Okay, that's 30 seconds already. The best
How
advice I've
can
ever received is to speak from my heart.
okay? How can music help heal a hurting heart?
It's soothing, and listening to it, rhythmics, it takes you away into another place and time.
How do you stay encouraged when challenges arise?
Be honest with you, playing music, listening to music, and sometimes actually getting to the piano and playing.
Okay. What's one thing people should stop saying to themselves?
That they can't do it or it's too hard. Put your mind to it, get to work, it'll get done.
What's one thing that people should start saying to themselves?
I am powerful, I am impactful, I am important.
And Sonia, what gives you hope for the future?
Because I know that there's a lot more fun coming along.
What's one message the world needs to hear right now?
The world needs to hear about peace and love and respect. That's another thing. We need to learn how to respect another and our ideas and not browbeat people.
How can someone begin using their voice to make a difference?
Whatever is their artistic side. If they draw, draw. If they can sing, sing. I mean, on key. Now, I don't want the out of key stuff. If they can play an instrument, play an instrument. If you can write, write.
Okay. What's one gospel song lyric or message that has carried you through hard times?
Wow, that's a good one because I just started replaying this. It was recorded by James Chambers and the Ecclesiastes Community Choir. I'm not gonna say that I sang with them, but I did. Help is on the way. And if you don't know where it is, do a Google search. It's on my YouTube page.
What does success look like beyond money and accomplishments?
Success is when you are happy in where you are. You're happy in the things that you do. Money is not going to it's not going to buy everything. It's not going to do everything because you can be the richest person in the world but be sick as I don't know what. So health and success, look for the future, look for the positive in everything.
One word that describes your journey.
Exciting.
One word that people need to hear more of today.
Affirmations.
One word that represents hope.
Hope.
Your favorite gospel song.
Oh boy, I can name just one.
Your favorite Bible verse.
You have not because you ask not.
What's the most important quality of a leader?
Respect.
One word you want viewers to remember after this show.
Fun.
Okay. And Sonia, what is the one message that you want viewers to carry with them after watching this episode? This can be answered in a few sentences. What is one message you want every viewer to carry with them after this episode?
To know your worth and be able to share your voice in a positive way and encourage someone along the way.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And for our viewers out there, if you want to contact Ansonia, you can reach her by her email address. It's on the screen. It's nelseygibbs@gmail.com. And Sonia, but thank you so much for being my guest today in season 3.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you, honey. This is Born to Speak to You TV. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. What an inspiring conversation. Thank you, and Sonia, again for sharing your wisdom, your journey, your passion for preserving. Your commitment to keeping these stories alive reminds us that our history matters. It does. And because we live in a time and age where history is, they're trying to erase it. Our voices matter as well. They're trying to silence us. And the messages we leave behind can continue to inspire future generations. To our viewers, I hope that today's conversation encouraged you to reflect on the people, experiences, and lessons that have shaped your life. Whether through music, faith, family, or community, we all have an opportunity to speak life into someone else's moment that matters. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to Born to Speak to You TV. Scan the QR code, which is on the screen, which will be on the screen in a second, and help us grow this platform by sharing the conversation with someone who could use a little encouragement. We invite you to leave a comment and tell us, what legacy are you preserving? And how are you using your voice to make a difference? By scanning the QR code, you can see this episode of Born to Speak to You TV, all past episodes, and all future episodes by subscribing to our YouTube channel. To learn more about Ansonia Gibbs, you can connect with her, follow her work through Let's Talk Gospel Music Gold podcasts. And remember, no matter what season of life you're in, your words have power. So use your voice to uplift, to inspire, to encourage, and to always speak life into the moments that matter. Until next time, I'm Calvin Gibbs Jr., and I am born to speak to you. We'll see you at the next episode.
streets of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark. Curtains rose and so did he, finding power in poetry. One voice, one mic, one sacred truth. Every word he spoke uncaged the youth. He saw the world try to silence the bold, but his soul was wired to break the mold. Now he walks in purpose, pure and true. He was born to speak to you. He's got that rhythm in his truth, that fire in his flow, speaking life into the moment, watch it grow. Every phrase, every beat, a breakthrough cue. Yeah, he was born to speak to you.